Hello, people. It's good to be live finally. I was just having a couple of minor issues there. All right, let me take a look at this. All right, so right, if you guys can hear me and see me, just how about we go to the chat button, to the chat section of this air meet, and just drop me a note saying that you can hear me and see me. Brilliant. Awesome. So Mike's here. Andy. Hey, Andy. Jesse, brilliant. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, just want to give you a bit of a heads up. Yeah, we've tried a bunch of webinar softwares. This is our first time with AirMeet, so if there's a chance there might be a glitch here and there. I'm hoping there isn't, but if there is, just bear with me or bear with us. We've done a trial run of this yesterday, and everything seemed to be working fine. So hopefully, fingers crossed. All right, so while we're waiting for everybody else, just wanted to see, unlike other webinar softwares, this one actually, I don't know if everyone else can see this, but I can see your titles right next to your speaker. So I can see that Saeed is head of HR. I can see that Smriti is quality coordinator at FCC. I can see Monica is an entrepreneur at iBoomerang. Hey, iBoomerang. Yeah. So yeah, ordinarily I would tell you guys to come on and introduce yourselves. Hey, Stanley, you made it. Brilliant, brilliant. All right. So we're just gonna. All right. So Ashraf Tanzeen is in the house. Hey, Ashraf. Who else? Who else? All right. So quite a few people. What we're gonna do is we're gonna wait another. Let me see. Another. We'll try and be a bit courteous because I know times are tough, and I'm sure lots of people are trying to deal with everything that's going on with curfew, lockdown, whatever you're dealing with, wherever you are, kids at home in the background. By the way, another disclaimer: if you hear some screaming in the background, that's my 3-year-old. He might even pop in to say hello. All right, so we're going to give it another 2 minutes, and we're going to go live. In the meanwhile, let me check to see if everything is okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead in about 2 minutes, assuming that you guys can see and hear me. And I trust you've also spent some time in the social networking lounge. This is cool because it's a meetup software called AirMeet, which is what you're logged into. And what it is basically it kind of mimics a real live event, whether it is a meetup or a conference or even an expo. So you can, whatever you could do in a real live event, you should be able to do it virtually. So after we finish the session, you can even log into the social lounge and hang out and sort of, meet new people there. All right, so another 1 minute. In the meanwhile, I will share my screen. All right. Assuming everyone can see my screen. Brilliant. All right, guys, can you see my screen? Hey, Vix. Brilliant. All right, so let me see how many guys we got on. Got 18. All right. I think we've got enough of a quorum to start for today. We're just going to give it 1 more minute while I make sure that my water is within reach. For those of you that know me, you know that I tend to talk way too much, then to get a bit of a sore throat. So, all right, we're going to start anyway, nonetheless. All right, so thank you very much. First of all, thanks very much for making it to LinkedIn Success. I'm going to try and make it as quickly as possible because I know you guys have got other things to do while keeping the core of this presentation intact. So hopefully you're going to get as much value as you can out of this. And I'm really excited that you're here. Thanks very much once again. And I'm looking forward to being a part of your LinkedIn journey. In the unlikely event, and I hope this doesn't happen, but if you have to sign off or log off for any reason, feel free to we're going to try and record this, have this recording available somewhere so you can sort of try and access the recording at a later date. But it's always nice to be here live. So we're going to end this. This is going to roughly last an hour, and then we're going to end it with a 15 to 20 minute Q&A, depending on how many Q's and A's you have. Right. So without further ado, let's start. So you guys are probably wondering, or some of you are wondering, why should I spend my time on LinkedIn, right? And there's lots of reasons, but for those of you who don't know, this is Gary Vaynerchuk. He's like a social media slash digital marketing genius. He's sort of been ahead of the curve, ahead of the game for the last 10, 12 years, right from when he took over his dad's wine business and turned it from a $3 million annual revenue business to a $50 million annual revenue business. And he is sort of at the cusp. In fact, sometimes he's a bit ahead of technology, and he's gone on to state that LinkedIn marketing is something that he really believes in. And this was, by the way, a quote from 2019. The platform has jumped leaps and bounds. The number of users have increased exponentially. A very quick look at some stats. I don't want to bore you with this. We're going to go really quickly over this. The US obviously has the largest user base for LinkedIn, followed very closely, interestingly enough, followed by India, China, Brazil, and the UK. China just overtook this mark in 2020. Before that, it was actually India, followed by Brazil, followed by Canada. So China is kind of catching up really fast. In terms of traffic, the list is, again, the US, followed by the UK, India, France, and Canada. Now, interestingly, 25 and 34-year-olds, that's the category, that's the age range that has the highest percentage of presence on LinkedIn. So it depends, depending on who your target market is, who you want to reach out to. If this is a market that you want to reach out to, then you're in absolutely the right place. Even if this isn't, there's a lot of other users, a lot of other age range users available on the group. The average LinkedIn user spends around 9 minutes per session and visits on average 10 pages. This could mean 10 profiles, it could mean 10 articles or whatever, but on average, it could be it's an average of 9 minutes per session. That's an average. There are some people like me, I spend an average, if you calculate the whole day, I've spent about an hour on LinkedIn because I know its true worth. And then some people spend way less. So 71% of traffic to LinkedIn is direct. And this is really cool because this means that this is the amount of people that are accessing LinkedIn with intent. They're not coming in via external links or backlinks or links via social media or here, I read an article and let me click on this and go to LinkedIn. No. They're coming in straight away by either typing into their browser www.linkedin.com or going into their app on their Android or iOS devices. So this means they're coming to visit LinkedIn with an intent. All right. So why are you here? All right. Not the question like we're all wondering about why are we here in this universe. No. Why are you here? You're here probably because you're not getting the results that you're looking for, or you want to improve the results that you already have. Right. So you're here either because you're disappointed because you can't generate leads on LinkedIn. You're here because you're trying to create authority on LinkedIn because you're posting content, but somehow it's not sort of resonating. It's not translating into authority. You know that LinkedIn is filled with, it's a goldmine of prospects, but you're still struggling to create meaningful conversations. You're here either because you're trying to get potential recruiters. Now, this is also aimed at people who are trying to look for jobs or new opportunities. You can't get the right kind of recruiters or potential employers to notice you because you're not attracted enough to your profile. So I'm here to show you that you can use a strategy to attract users to your profile and achieve your goals on the platform. So why am I doing this webinar? So I've got 20 plus years of marketing experience. I've learned that to run a successful business, you've got to have leads. You can have everything. You can have an amazing product. You can have an amazing service. But if you don't have leads, your business is not going to fly. Andy will second me on this. Yet most people do not know how to optimize your profile on LinkedIn. They don't know how to create content, and they don't know how to get people's attention so that they can engage and sort of convert that engagement into a sale, right? Now, contrary to popular belief, getting LinkedIn to work for you does not require spending hours and hours on the platform. You don't have to sort of research articles and you don't have to do tons and tons of homework. However, you still need to spend time and effort to create a tried and tested strategy, right? You need to, especially in the beginning, once in the first maybe 3 to 6 months, once your profile is up and running, and once it's getting the right amount of leads and it's getting the right amount of traction, you can probably spend a little less time on your profile and more time on everything else on LinkedIn. So because of all this, I figured a lot of people would have issues with all this. This is why we created this webinar. All right, who am I? Some of you that know me, some of you probably, most of you don't. So I've spent 20 years in marketing, in the marketing industry, majority of the time in senior decision-making roles, CMOs, head of marketing, head of sales and marketing. I've worked with different sectors, right, from technology to logistics to aviation to banking to hospitality and even the startup economy or ecosystem. I've been a blogger, a columnist, a keynote speaker, and a podcaster. Now the podcaster bit is something new. Released a podcast mid last summer. And then I stopped, but it will continue in the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to be, you can sign up for updates at the end. And personal note on the side, I'm a massive WWE fan. I love pro wrestling, specifically WWE, and I'm also a big watch nerd. I'm a watch collector, a watch enthusiast. I love watches. Love watches. Right. So my goal here today, I want to help entrepreneurs, marketers, business owners fill their pipeline with leads. I want to help professionals looking for new employment, get more impressions on their profile, make a better impression on their profile, and I want to help you do this by leveraging the power and the reach of LinkedIn without having to put tons and tons of work. Right. So now, by the way, just a very quick note. We learned this by doing a lot of research, a lot of analysis, a lot of study, a lot of test and experimentation. We spent hours, maybe hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of time taking part in surveys and downloading reports and downloading case studies and testing and doing other people's courses as well. So this is an amalgamation of everything that we've learned, but also everything that we've put to test. And I'm not going to say at the end of this, I'm not going to say that everything that I'm going to show you today is going to work for you, but if you take bits and pieces of what you learned today and apply it to your profile and to your strategy, there's a definite chance that it's going to work for you. All right, so moving forward. Right, so the first thing you want to do, right, and this is with everything, right? It's not just with LinkedIn, but with any social media platform, whether it is a blog, whether it is your YouTube channel, whether it is your Twitter account or whatever it is, you have to define your goal. You can't just be jumping on a bandwagon because everyone else is doing it, right? So you can't, in other words, you can't really be jumping on the LinkedIn bandwagon just because I'm saying it. It's hot. Yes, it is hot, but then you need to figure out what you want the platform to do for you, right? So first things first, do you want it to generate leads? Do you want it to attract potential employers? Do you want to grow your personal brand? What is the target audience that you want to reach on LinkedIn? For instance, if you're aiming to reach teenagers, like maybe the 14 to 17, then perhaps LinkedIn is not the right place for you. Right. So what do you want to be known for? Like, for instance, going back to, if you want to position yourself as an authority in your niche or in your industry, then you want to be known for that, right? You want to be known as an advisor. You want to be known as a consultant. You want to be known as a Mr. Know-it-all. Probably not a good idea. Right. So what we're going to do here, we've divided this into 4. And this is for anyone that's logging in from Canada or Ireland. This is a different kind of 4-leaf clover, right? And we've kind of modeled it around profile, outreach, content, and engagement. I just put the publish in front of the content so that it makes a P so you can spell Pope. It has nothing to do with the Pope, by the way. Right, so first things first, we want to optimize your profile to make sure that you're using the right kind of keywords in your headline and in your summary. You want to create the right kind of outreach so that we know that it is a tried and tested strategy to start making a connection first and then nurture that relationship and then try and sell whatever it is that you're trying to sell. Number 3 is you want to try and publish content, but content that is aimed at your target market. Remember earlier, in the previous slide, we talked about how you want to hone in on what you want the platform to do for you. So if you're targeting, for instance, if you're a real estate professional, and by the way, I'm going to be using this real estate example in the rest of the presentation. If you're a real estate professional, then obviously all your content or most of your content should revolve around real estate. It could be, hacks, it can be tricks, it can be, download lists to find out how you can get access to quick listings or whatever it is. But all your content that you're developing as a real estate professional should be focused around your target market. And then finally, we're talking about engagement. How do you create engagement for your content as well as for yourself as your brand when you create your outreach, right? So first things first, we're going to go into profile, right? So now a lot of the times people misunderstand, or they underestimate rather, the importance of having a fully filled out profile. Now, to a certain extent, LinkedIn is partially responsible for this because they give you this all-star kind of rating or all-star badge if you filled out everything. And I strongly recommend that everybody fills out all the fields that are within LinkedIn's parameters, because it is definitely going to boost your searchability on the platform, and it'll improve LinkedIn's ability to push you up the rankings when it comes to search, right? But that's one thing that you can and you definitely must do. But apart from that, a lot of people are not utilizing the rest of the so-called hacks. Well, they're not really hacks anymore because a lot of more people are doing it. But first things first, you got a banner on top. You see the banner where you say growth marketing for startups and SMEs. Well, a lot of people don't utilize that banner, that space. All right, they'll either leave it blank, or they'll put pictures of them running a marathon, or maybe some sunshine, some trees, or maybe the ocean or an aquarium. And all that is fine if you don't want LinkedIn to work for you, but that is some really prime piece of real estate. So if you want to if you want to take advantage of that, I suggest you utilize that to either tell people a bit about what you do or what you can do, maybe even include a call to action, right? Then people again underestimate the importance of a profile picture. And I apologize that arrow is pointing to the banner again, but it's meant to be pointing to the profile picture. The profile picture is something that is extremely important, because imagine when you're this is taking away from let's forget for a minute that people have landed on your profile. Let's say someone's never met you, never seen you, has never heard of you before. He or she will probably see you commenting on someone else's feed, and if he sees what he sees is a very tiny thumbnail, and we're going to go through this in a live lesson in a minute, but what he sees is really tiny thumbnail. And if he does not see a clear and distinct face with an uncomplicated background, he or she is not going to he's not going to be attracted towards your profile, right? If he sees who you are, there's more of a likelihood that he will click on your profile. And then the next bit is their headline should also tell the person what you're good at, all right? So either the services that you provide, or what you're really good at, or what you're aiming to do. Now, the trick here is to include keywords. Like, for instance, me, as you can see, I've included growth marketer, because growth marketer is a keyword. And then I say helping SMEs with content, lead generation, and growth. Again, I've used lead generation because lead generation is a very cool keyword to use. Content is another very popular keyword, right? So the key is to use keywords in your search. I just got a couple of days ago, I got asked to be to do a keynote at a conference that's happening towards the end of January. And I haven't really asked, but my guess is the person found my profile because he looked for keynote speakers, and that again is listed in my profile. So list the number of things that you want to be found for in your headline. Next, do not be afraid to use the descriptive area in your about section. Small little typo there, apologies for that. A lot of people think, well, back in the old days, the common mantra was don't put a lot of text because people don't have time to read. And that is true. People will not have time to read. But if you're catering to the right kind of audience, and that right person from that right target market lands on your profile, there's a very good chance that they will click on more to read more because they're attracted to you, right? So you don't want anyone and everyone to come to your profile and leave, right? And it doesn't matter if they come to your profile and leave. What matters is if the right people come to your profile. If your target niche or your target industry comes to your profile, you want them to click on the about section and then read the rest of it, because this is magnetic information. This, in my instance, I've actually I've begun by talking about how important it is for us all, for brands to tell stories, and for all of us as individuals to tell stories as well, right? And that sort of, a lot of people have told me that that's one of the things that has prompted people to click more and actually get in touch with me because they were intrigued by my summary. Now, LinkedIn gives you 2,000 characters to include in the section. That's roughly around 300 words, give or take, right? So utilize all those 300 words to talk about what you're good at, to talk about your interests, and to talk about what you want to do, what you wish to do, and also you got to remember everywhere you can, you got to include a call to action, right? So in this at the right at the bottom, I've said get in touch with me via direct message to know more, to see how we can work together. uh, and then, of course, there's other bits of the profile like professional experience and awards and all that that are important, that are extremely important. I definitely recommend you fill them out. But the third thing, and this is specifically with regards to people that are looking for opportunities, looking for jobs, you need to fill out the section with skills and endorsements. And why? Because the more skills you get endorsed by your network, the higher you rank for specific jobs that other people on LinkedIn are posting jobs for. Like if you go to the if you're a recruiter, there are chances that you're posting jobs on LinkedIn. When the algorithm, or when their software and their application gives you matches, chances are they're giving you matches based on the skills that they're matching from your job spec to the people that are within your geographic or whatever your demographic search criteria, right? So for instance, if you're looking for people with digital marketing experience or marketing strategy experience, and if I've opened my profile to actively looking for an opportunity, the algorithm is automatically going to match me to that particular job because my skills match, right? And one more thing, get as many endorsements as you can, because that will increase the rate of the algorithm matching you to that job. Just a side note, the system kind of stops at 99. So once you hit 100 endorsements, it will just stop and it will just say 99 plus. So it doesn't matter if you have 1,000 or if you have 100, it'll still say 99 plus. But get those endorsements and skills. All right. So what I will do is I'm going to switch to. Hang on a sec. I'm gonna do a live thing right now. We'll do a bit of a. There you go. Sorry. All right. Can you guys see my profile right now? Awesome. Thanks, Ajit. All right. So a couple of things here. I wanted to do some spring cleaning first, or some housekeeping. The first thing you need to do is you need to, sorry about that. You need to go to the Me. You need to go to your settings and privacy. And this is if you want to get found. You need to go to visibility. All right. And I suggest that your public profile should be visible. Again, mine already is, but it should be visible to pretty much everyone. Don't make it visible only to, right? See, your profile photo should be visible to the public. And I know about 10 years ago, people were saying, "Oh, well, this is not good for my privacy and stuff." You know what? Nobody cares about your privacy anymore, at least not on LinkedIn, because if you're on LinkedIn, you're here to make connections, you're here to network, and you're here to win some business. So keep your profile public, keep your photograph, your image public, and keep everything about your profile public. And the reason is because LinkedIn, if your profile is public, it will cache all that information within external websites as well. So this includes Google, it includes Yahoo, it includes Bing. So the chances of people finding you on Google and Yahoo and Bing are much higher if you make pretty much everything public, right? So this is the first thing I recommend that you do. You can actually toy around in that visibility setting, and you can sort of figure out what you want public and what you don't want to be public. But that's what I recommend. Now, in that, uh, as you can see, hang on a second. All right, so this is a tool that I use to figure out how good my LinkedIn profile is. All right, so this is something called Resume Worded, and what you can do is, oh, it's free, by the way. There's a basic service and there's a paid service, but the basic service for most of us will do just fine. All you need to do is get in, right, and sorry, all right, go to the LinkedIn section. All right, and what you also need to do is, sorry, um, apologies, guys. I'm going to make this whole tab visible. There you go. So what you need to do is you need to go to your profile, and then here where it says about, you need to, sorry, where it says more. Apologies, there's a bit of lag here because I'm assuming it is casting onto AirMeet. So you need to download your CV as a PDF. All right, so download the CV as a PDF. All right, I've already done that for the purpose of this. So what I will do is I'm going to switch my screen to resume worded. Okay, there you go. Can you see this? Brilliant. Okay, so all you need to do is join a resume worded. You can log in using your Gmail, or you can log in creating a different account using your email. Like I said earlier, it's free, and all you need to do is drag and drop or upload your CV right here. And what it does is it analyzes your LinkedIn profile based on that PDF that you've just uploaded. I last did it about a month ago, so I don't know if it's going to be an improvement to what I did last year or not. Hopefully it is. All right, so my resume's got a score. Oh, sorry, my LinkedIn profile's got a score of 86. All right, now, and it tells you where you're ranking well and where you're ranking not so well. So over here, if you scroll down, it says I got 10 out of 10 for a headline. I got 8 out of 10 for summary. So there's obviously some amount of work that I can do on my summary. I got a 7 out of 10 for experience. I got a 10 out of 10 on education, and I got 8 out of 10 on others. Now, if you go towards the left here, it'll tell you a bit about why you score. Right? So it says your headline looks excellent at the first look, well done. Again, I'm not going to go in detail here. My summary, you made a great start. We evaluated your summary against a number of common indicators, blah, blah, blah. And it says your summary includes the right keywords. So now, if you do the paid version, obviously this is an indicator that your summary needs fixing. So you can go back to the drawing board and start adding to it and amending it. If you want Resume Worded themselves to give you a recommendation, then obviously you've got to upgrade to the paid version. Then we'll go to the experience. Experience, I got 7. We recommend listing at least 3 roles. Right, so this is something that I can do within my summary. I have not that I haven't done. Education is fine because, well, obviously if it's education, it's fairly simple. Most people would score high on that. And then for keyword analysis, this is the part where you have to upgrade to base. So again, it's a good start, right? This will give you a clear indication of what you need to what you need to do to improve your LinkedIn profile. And well, yeah, of course, without saying, it's resume worded, so you can do this with your CV as well. This is aimed at job seekers, because this will sort of mimic what those automated systems are looking for when it comes to specific keywords, and tell you where you're going wrong and where you can fix your CV. So it's a 2-in-1, kill two birds with one stone kind of thing. All right, so we will go back to my presentation. Sorry, guys. AirMeet is yeah, I'm still figuring this out, right? So we'll go back to my presentation. Right. So another tool that you can use is Snapper. I don't want to take up any more of your time on this specific tool, but it's a really cool tool where you can log in with your LinkedIn profile, and again, it's for free. It analyzes your profile picture and tells you what you need to fix in terms of, maybe you might need to you might need to fix your contrast, or you might need to take another picture where you may have to utilize a rule of thirds or improve your background or whatever it is. Take advantage of this tool. What I am going to do is, at the end of it, I'm going to send everyone that signed up for this, I'm going to send you an email with 2 resources. One is going to be a message template, and this is going to make sense as we move ahead with this webinar. And another one is I'm going to give you a list of all the links, all the external links that we use. All right. This is Resume Worded, all right, which we've just used. All right. Next, we're going to talk about outreach. Right, and this is cool, right? So when it comes to outreach, again, remember one of the first slides that we talked about. We talked about identifying what you need your LinkedIn presence to do. Right. So assuming that you fixed your profile, right? You fixed your profile, you've got a stellar profile, you've done all these things that we've recommended that you do. You've got recommendations from Resume Worded, and your profile looks stellar. Awesome. Congratulations. That's step one. Done. Dusted. Move on to step two. Now we're talking about identify who you want to sell to. Now I know I said sell, but this could also mean who you want to appeal to. If you're looking for a job, or even if you want to look for potential partners. When I say prospects, I mean prospects, whatever is applicable to you. So if you're looking for sales, obviously you're looking for sales prospects. If you're looking for partners, there's still prospective partners, and if you're looking for employers, there's still prospective employers. So now this is the old version of the search tab on LinkedIn. All right. Again, I'm going to stop sharing because I need to go back to LinkedIn for this. There you go. All right. Now, a lot of people don't really utilize the LinkedIn search in the right way. And this is what I recommend when you're looking for search, when you're looking for things, when you're looking for people, when you're looking for content, you should actually search here. Now, let's assume that you have a service where you're aiming to look for CEO, right? So you're looking for CEO, right? And this is where a lot of people go wrong. If you're looking for CEO, and if you hit CEO, the algorithm or the search is going to show you everybody with CEO in their title, right? Ideally, not really the best way to look for people, right? So here you have, sorry, and then you want to click on people. My apologies, guys. All right, so you clicked CEO, you click people, and there are 8,900,000 results. That's obviously because that's all over LinkedIn. Now, if I narrow it down to the United Kingdom and say show results, it's showing me 464,000 results for CEO. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people I know are CEOs, right? Technically, I'm the CEO of my own company, but there's only 3 of us. So it's not really, it may not be significant enough for a lot of people. So what you want to do to be able to narrow this down is you want to use a bit of Boolean search here and say CEO, not founder, right? So now, and the reason CEO not founder, because there's a really significant assumption that if you're CEO and founder, you're still going to be a fairly small operation, and depending on the product or service you're trying to sell, you may not want to get in touch with small CEOs. With all due respect to all CEOs out there, you may want to reach out to CEOs that are in larger, medium to large companies. And this is, by the way, I know some of you might say, well, you can do this in Sales Navigator, and yes, you can, but this is aimed at people that do not have access to Sales Navigator, that do not want to splash the cash and get Sales Navigator as yet. So as you can see, it narrowed down that result to 325,000 results, right? So now you've narrowed it down from 600 and whatever to 320,000. So now you can even narrow it down to you don't want to talk to the people that you already know that are within your first degree of connections. You want to talk to just the secondary connections. You can show results, and it will narrow it down to even. Now it shows 48,000 results. So this is a way, and then once you got this, then you start with your connection sequence, which we're going to go through in a bit. I want to show you another example of search. All right, so a second. That. So this is. Sorry, I just had that typed in. Like, this is aimed at people that are looking for jobs, looking for opportunities. Most people, by default, they'll just go to the jobs and they'll just click on jobs and say looking for jobs, and they'll type marketing, right? Or they'll type sales, or they'll type HR or finance or whatever. Here, what we've done is you can use Boolean again. So you type CV, and these are the different keywords that you're looking for people that are using keywords for posting jobs, right? So you want people that are using the word recruiting or recruiter, or you want to use jobs, or people that are using the word hiring. And then you close the parentheses, and then you mention the job role. In this instance, I look for marketing. You can look for, let's say, sales, all right? And then you hit enter. But now here's the cool part. by default, it's looking for people. What you need to do is click on the people, click on this tab, sorry, and then look for posts. And now it's going to show you all the people that are advertising for jobs that have included the sales job in their post. Like here you can see this is, oh, and then you can sort it out even further by saying posted in the last 24 hours, right? So here you can see Siemens is hiring freshers, right? And this was posted 10 hours ago. You can see latest job information, Siemens, okay, Siemens again. Tata Communications is hiring, um, I'm updating my vendor list daily. By the way, this includes people that are looking for opportunities as well as people that are listing opportunities. Small caveat there, but again, it's an additional way of looking for jobs here. So this is the other way you can look for jobs or look for target market potential people that you want to connect with on LinkedIn search. I hope this is helpful. Oh, nice. This is helpful. All right, so I'm going to get back to the presentation. Right, so now these are just some sample outreach messages. Now, a lot of the times, and by the way, for the last 1 year, ever since the pandemic hit, LinkedIn's user base has increased by roughly around 1 million, little over 1 million. And that means 1 million extra people or 1 million new people have jumped onto the platform and have started sending out connection requests and stuff. And for a lot of them, because they're not really familiar with LinkedIn etiquette, they start spamming, right? And just to be clear, I've got no problem with people coming onto the platform. This is not my platform. It's social media, right? It's available for everyone. But I have a big problem when people don't work to get the sale. If you want my business, you need to nurture the relationship. You need to sort of make me trust you, and then nurture a relationship, and then spring for the sale, right? I don't like it when people just send me a message saying, "Hey Barry, good to meet you. I have this product. Try and buy. We'd love it if you can buy it from me." And chances are, if you guys are doing that, it's not going to work. If it's working, you're lucky. If it's not working, well, it's not working because you're not nurturing that relationship. So here, I put together some sample outreach messages, and don't worry about taking screenshots and stuff. I will send this to you once we're done. By the end of the day, we're going to send this to you in a separate document, right? So here in this example, this is an example where it's just somebody that you found within search that you want to connect with, and you say, "Hey Jim, I'm looking at growing my network on LinkedIn, and I thought it would be a great idea to connect. I love what you guys are doing over at Real Estate Genius." Real Estate Genius is just a fictitious name of a company that I made up, but it's just to give you context of, you want to say to them that you love what they're doing at their company, and that's why you want to build a connection. Notice in this example and in the next example where I say, I thought it would be a great idea to connect so that we can grow each other's network. I look forward to your content here and to your feedback of mine. This is meant for, if you're sending out a connection request to someone that posts a lot of content that you consume, you want to tell them that there's a chance that if there's a chance that we can collaborate in future, I would love that, and hence I'm sending you this connection request. So you want to, and notice in both these examples, there is nothing about you and there's nothing about a sale. All right. Another example here. "Hey Jim, I saw your comment on Tim's post." Again, Tim, somebody fictitious, but this is aimed at some. If you want to connect with somebody that has commented on a mutual connection, right? You want to. Maybe you want to find someone that's really popular that has maybe 100, 200, 300 comments, and then you want to go to that post and say, "Hey, I want to identify all these 50, 60, or 100 odd people that have commented on that. And out of those 50, 60 odd people, 10 are actually within my niche. They're the people that I would ideally want to target. So I'm going to send them a connection request, which is cool." And this is a sample of that message. Would love to connect and explore any opportunities to work together. If not, it would be great just to follow you here on LinkedIn. Another one is, I noticed that this is the one on the right side is basically if you found someone that went to the same university as you did. Now, I didn't go to Oxford, as most of you know. Again, it's just fiction here. But the idea is to make a connection, find a common ground that you can start a conversation with. So here I say, "I noticed you attended Oxford University. I did too, but it seems like so long ago. I enjoy connecting with other alumni and would love to be part of your network." So again, you're establishing some kind of commonality here so that you can network, and the chances of the other person accepting your connection request are higher, right? Then Another one. Thanks for connecting with me, Jim. It's great to be a part of your network on LinkedIn. If there's anything I can help you with over at Real Estate Genius, feel free to reach out to me. Right. So this is more of a helpful sort of thing. Hey, it's good to be connected. Oh, this is, by the way, this is for someone who is already connected with you. So let's assume that you sent Jim that connection request and he accepted. This is a sample of an acceptance message. So here you're saying, thanks for accepting the connection request. It'll be great. If there's anything you need over at your company, let me know. I'd be more than willing to help. And the fourth one is the same thing, but a little bit more advanced. It says, I'm curious to know what your challenges are, within, especially, with all the stuff that's going on right now. Thanks for connecting with me. I'm curious to know what your biggest challenges are at Real Estate Genius. And if there's anything I can help you with, I'd be more than willing to. If not, I will introduce you to people in my network that will hopefully be able to help you. So again, you're trying to ease them into that engagement spectrum and try and sort of befriend them before you even pitch a sale to them, right? And this is, I think, this last one. I'm really this one is basically to warm up the prospect with some kind of an offer, not a sales offer, right? This is very soft, but something like a PDF or a lead magnet, so to speak, so they can get you, so that they can sort of continue building that trust and that relationship, right? So here it says, I'm excited to be connected with you. It looks like you run your own real estate business. I put together a free ebook that helps small businesses deal with running a business in a recession. So chances are, if you're interested, now, both these messages are similar, but the one on the left says, if you're interested, I'll send it across to you, which means within LinkedIn. The one on the right says the same thing, but in the end, it says, if you're interested, I'll send you a link where you can download it. Now, the difference is, if you send a link, you're going to ask that person to sign up, right? And signing up means name and email address. And the key here is to get people to sign up to some kind of list, all right? So because you don't want to spam them eventually when you do get their email address. So if you do get their name and email address, chances are you will also be including a little check mark. For those of you within Europe or the UK, GDPR is extremely important, so you may want to check that. And then from then on, you can build that conversation. And also the important thing is to take that conversation away from LinkedIn, right? Next, the final one. I hope all is well on your end. Thought I might find this helpful. I work with lots of real estate advisors and consultants and help them generate warm qualified leads, blah, blah, blah. If you like, I can send you a link to that. I've created a checklist. If you want, I can send you the checklist. Either way, I'd be curious to hear what's working for you within your industry and whatever. So again, these are all ways you can build conversation, right? So this is the one on the left. The one on the right is kind of aimed at taking the conversation off LinkedIn, which should be your aim all throughout. All throughout, whatever you do with outreach, you should aim to get those people off of LinkedIn and booked onto your calendar, either for a Zoom or a video call or a phone call, whatever works, or hopefully in the future, maybe a face-to-face meeting. All right, so here you're saying, how's your week going so far? I'm checking to see if you're currently working on generating new leads. I spend my time dealing with, helping consultants, find and generate new leads. If you're interested, I can help you out. If you're interested, I have slots on Tuesday and Thursday available for a chat. Now, don't just keep it open-ended and say, let me know when you're free. The idea is give them two suitable times. So if you're free on Tuesday, if you're free on Thursday, I have slots available. If you are, then you send them a link to your calendar. Boom, done. And the idea, again, is to move that conversation off of LinkedIn. These are just a sample of my interactions. This is all the stuff that I've been doing over the last 7, 8, 9, 10 months. And you can see most of these are positive. I have included, well, not negative, but I have included sort of you're not interested right now, but thanks, we'll get in touch later. Those I got a lot of those as well, but a lot of these have been positive. See, this one over here, it says, glad to hear about what you do. Can we discuss this more over a Skype call? So in this instance, this person himself has suggested we take the conversation off of LinkedIn. Over here on the right says, thank you for reaching. Sounds very interesting. Do let me know if we can connect sometime next week to take this ahead. On the left, it says, happy to learn more. Please feel free to get in touch in September. And this was in July, I think. So yeah, so there's tons of these, but for the sake of time, we're not going to go through this. This one says, please get in touch with my colleague. Regret not being able to respond earlier. This has been a busy month. We're growing, whatever, too much. Let's speak on Friday. So most of these are positive. And right, so we're going to skim past this really quick. Now, just a quick note. These are 2 hacks that I've personally tried. I even posted this a number of times on LinkedIn. 2 little hacks to get people to respond to your messages. So let's assume that you sent an initial message. By the way, when you're sending an initial message, LinkedIn does not allow you to send anything else but text with your initial connection request. Once you've accepted, then you can send other kinds of messages. You can send documents, videos, images, what have you. So one cool hack is, I don't really know as of right now if this is available, but on desktop you can't really do voice notes, but on mobile, on the mobile app, you can actually do voice notes. So the trick I've sort of started doing for the last 7-8 months is I've actually started sending out really quick, short, crisp voice notes saying, hey, it's me. I hope you're doing. Hey, this is Barry. I hope you're doing well. Just checking in to say hi. If you want to get together and just catch up over the next couple of weeks, just let me know and I'll send you a link. Take care. Um, um, Amazingly, when I started doing this, or even now when I do this, a lot of people were like, "Well, we never." Some of them say we don't even know this feature existed on LinkedIn, and a lot of the others will actually reply saying, "Oh, thanks very much. Not today, not this week, next week, whatever." But this, I tried this out for people that have not engaged with me for a while. Let's assume somebody has accepted a connection request, and I've sent them a bunch of messages. They haven't replied. There's a 9 out of 10 chance that they will reply if you send them a voice note, or B, if you send them a video note. Now, there's a bunch of video apps that you can use. There's Vidyard, which I use, and then there's Soapbox, which is via Wistia, and then I think there's also Loom, and there's a few other new ones that have popped up in the market. Um, I use Vidyard, and the beauty of using Vidyard is you can record a video using your desktop or your laptop using a Chrome extension. And what I do typically is I will record a very quick video, as you can see over here. I've recorded a quick video, and then what Vidyard lets you do is it allows you to take a certain 3-second clip, all right, of anything. But if let's assume your video is a minute long, it'll take 3 seconds of any part of that video that you want, that you can choose, and it will turn that into an animated GIF, GIF, or however you want to say it. And you can actually copy and paste that link into an email. So technically, you're embedding that video into an email or into a LinkedIn mail that you can send. So when you send it to your prospect, all right, and if there's motion in that message, the prospect will actually see that message, will actually see a motion. Like maybe you could be waving to the person, or in this instance, I've actually put the person's name saying, "Hey, what's up, Christoph?" And this cool bit of personalization really does wonders for mail acceptance rate, and for returns for people, for people that have not responded to your messages in a long time. This is a great way of getting them to message you back. So are you guys finding this webinar useful so far? Right, I'd like to get some comments. Ajit, thanks very much. Thank you. Awesome, definitely yes. Cool. Nice, brilliant. You're welcome. Thanks, Blushi. Right, very useful, brilliant. All right, so let's get back because we've got. All right. Right. I apologize for you guys having to see my face. Just had a fresh shave right now, so yeah. Got a lot of scuffs in. All right, so next we move on to engagement. Now this is a very short section, right? Very quickly, only one slide. The key to getting engagement is because the more the reason you want to get engagement is the more engagement you get, the more traction your profile gets, and the more traction your content gets. Excuse me. So the idea is to engage with everyone that engages with you. And this is irrespective whether it is within your messaging or whether it is in your comments. You want to engage with everyone because, again, the algorithm recognizes every single bit of engagement, number one. Number two, then you got to engage also with second-degree connections who have posted comments on the post of your first-degree connections, right? So what this means is sometimes a lot of your first-degree connections would have liked or commented something, and you will see this in their feed. And I know a lot of people that will on purpose not comment on those because they'll say, well, they're not connected to me, so why should I comment? Well, here's the deal. If you comment on them, there's a chance that they will see your comment, right? Or your like, but preferably your comment if you comment with something meaningful and relevant to that post. And there's a good chance that they will come back to view your profile. And at the end of the day, the more people that view your profile, the better it is for you, right? So number three, type at least one sentence in the comments. Right now, when you're typing in the comment section, a lot of people say, "Oh, great post," or "Thank you," whatever. That does not really fly with LinkedIn, because LinkedIn has a minimum character association. So if you put up, let's say, a 5-word or a 7-word sentence like, "This is great, thank you very much," it's much better than just saying "thank you," because otherwise it is not classed as an actual comment, right? If you just say "great post" or "fantastic," or even if you just insert a bunch of emojis, that does not count as engagement, right? It does count as engagement, but LinkedIn does not count that as engagement, right? Next, aim to leave at least, all right, so this is a little trick here. You got to leave at least 10 comments on a variety of posts with your first degree. So obviously, if you're spending 15-20 minutes on engagement, you spend a good 10 minutes on leaving 10 comments, right? The key is to get the LinkedIn algorithm, to understand that you're active on LinkedIn, right? You can't be passive and expect people to follow you. It's a rewards kind of system. You visit other people's profiles and you comment and you engage, and in return, LinkedIn will push other people to engage with you. That's how it works. So you spend 10 minutes of time engaging with your first degree content, and then at least 5 minutes engaging with your secondary connections, right? And this is kind of like a perfect balance, because you don't want to ignore your secondary connections as well, because at some point in time, your secondary degree connections will, if you're doing a good job, they will turn to first degree connections. Next, finally, when you get a new connection request, scout their profile to see how authentic they are. Now, in the interest of time, I will not do this, but what you can do, I will not actually take you through this actual exercise, but very quickly, what you can do is, a lot of the times you get spammy profiles or profiles that are fake, right? One way of telling is go to the profile and see how much content they have. And in the profile section, you will also be able to, in their content section, if they haven't really posted any authentic content themselves, you'll be able to tell it's a fake. That's one telltale sign of telling it's a fake. Another telltale sign is, there's a lot of people that say that they're good at content marketing, right? So if you're good at content marketing, you should have published a lot of content, either in your feed or at least 1 or 2 articles. So if you find that they don't post a lot of content and they don't have anything in their article section, they have not really done any documents or whatever, just stay away from that person, because chances are they're fake. Right. Next, and this is like the coolest part. This is the part I love about LinkedIn: content strategy. This is how I'm going to tell you how to find, create, and publish. Right. So here, there's 4 ingredients of great piece of content. Content needs to be actionable, informative, motivational, and interesting. And I'm not going to get into this. Let's go next. This is something that I didn't steal it, but this is available on Top Dog social media. There's a lady by the name of Melanie Dodaro, who's like a LinkedIn genius. She runs an agency called Top Dog Social Media. Does a lot of training campaigns, training workshops, and online and offline, and accelerators as well on LinkedIn. And she's come up with this perfect mix of content marketing, which is, your content needs to have authority, it needs to have trust, and it needs to have credibility, right? So this is the 3 epithets of your content. What you need all your content, or most of your content, to speak. Now, this is my story. This is how I started out, and I've been on LinkedIn for about 10 years, but I only really started posting content, let's say, about March, April 2019, so little under 2 years. And as you can see, these are the first, the first couple of months. First, on the extreme left, 4 reactions, 0 comments. Then 4 reactions, 0 comments, 151 views, 14 reactions, 18 comments. So you see, there's a starting curve to everything. There's a learning curve and there's a starting curve. So once you start, you're going to be faced with these kind of results. But do not fear. The more you do it with consistency and passion, your results will improve. So from there, it moved on to this. This is over the last couple of months. This is from September onwards, I think last year, 2020. As you can see, some of my posts, 22 reactions, 201 reactions, 150. You can see on the extreme right, the views have gone up dramatically. And this is all because of what I've done the last year and a half, which I'm going to show you here. This is another example of some more videos. So this one is my highest performing in terms of reactions, the one on the extreme left, which is 412 reactions. That is basically likes and other reactions, 81 comments. This one is an example. The one in the middle and the one in the extreme right are examples of documents that are actually hacked into, how should I say, carousel posts. All right, so Here's a bunch of tips here. Use long form status updates, right? So the key is to write long form status updates instead of using one liners. This is not Facebook. This is not Instagram. You don't have to give people when LinkedIn says status updates, it doesn't mean, hey, I'm going to visit I'm going to visit Chick-fil-A or whatever, or I'm going to visit TGI's this evening. No, no, no. This is your thoughts, what you're thinking about, your opinion on a particular topic, or maybe something that happened at work that you want to share, an award that you won, whatever it is. So um, make sure that you expand on what you want to write. So LinkedIn gives you, for a normal text or picture post, LinkedIn gives you 1,300 characters. So make sure you utilize all those 1,300 characters. Right. The second tip is, instead of long paragraphs, break your text down into single sentences and use single line spacing. Now, the idea behind this is it's proven. I don't know what the scientific term is, but if you bunch together 5 or 6 paragraphs on one end, and if you break down those same 5 or 6 paragraphs on another end into maybe 12 or 15 sentences using space, you will see the performance of the spaced out content will be much, much higher, right? And the other thing that they also recommend is use a wave format. So as you can see in this example, I've used a wave format. So there's 2 short sentences, 1 long sentence, again a bunch of short sentences, a long sentences. This is again scientifically proven fact that people tend to be attracted more towards content that is laid out in that fashion as opposed to clumped paragraphs. uh, right? So 3, obviously provide value in your content. Now, a lot of the times people talk about value a lot on LinkedIn, and it is true, you have to provide value, but more importantly, you have to provide relevant, what I call relevant value, right? So you can't say, oh, you got a really valuable piece of content, and my market is real estate consultants, but this content is aimed at digital marketers. It doesn't really it doesn't really sit well, because real estate people are not going to appreciate this. So it has to be relevant value, right? Now, next is use mentions and hashtags to add relevance to your post, and then add attractive visuals to get attention while people are scrolling. So once in a while, you can play around with this. Use text post, and once in a while you can use image post, right? The next is document uploads. Now, this is a really cool hack. Now, I'm assuming LinkedIn created the whole document uploads feature to because they were thinking, oh, people are going to upload, I don't know, SOPs or press releases or what have you, or I don't know. But a lot of marketers over the last 1-2 years have hacked this to sort of use. They've started using this as a place to post carousels. Right now, technically, when if you were to break up 5 images and upload them as images, they will not show as carousel. They will show as a photo album, and you don't want that. You want them to focus. You want them to show up as a carousel. So the trick is convert them to PDF and upload them as a document, and they will show up as carousels, and you'll be able to slide them like that. And the key to this, the beauty of this is LinkedIn counts that one single swipe as a piece of engagement. So what you will see is, if you post documents more often and put them and sort of design them in the form of carousels where people have to slide, you'll find your engagement going up higher, because the more people do that, the more LinkedIn will show that post to other people, right? Next is video posts. Now, video is severely underrated. I think a lot of people don't know the importance of video. For obvious reasons, because I was home for most of last year. I didn't do a lot of video because my son kept interrupting me. But before that, I used to do at least 2 to 3 video posts a week, and I noticed that my engagement had risen quite a bit. So video is definitely the way to go if you can, and you don't have to have fancy equipment to do a video. You can actually do a video using just your smartphone, and maybe invest in basic lighting and a tripod. And things to feature when it comes to videos, again, industry tips, tricks, showcase a product or service, get a client testimonial. There's so many things you can do. Eventually, when things open up, if you're going to attend a conference or an exhibition or a trade show, what have you, you can film those and you can show those as clips to people with subtitles. Um, Now, a lot of the times when I say video, I mean upload native video from LinkedIn. And what that means is, if you've done a video, right, and I see a lot of people doing this, they'll post it on YouTube or they'll post it on Facebook and then include a link um, from Facebook or YouTube in their LinkedIn post, which is the absolute wrong way to do things, because LinkedIn does not like people leaving the platform. They want to keep people on the platform. They want to keep their users on the platform. So what I suggest you do is, the easiest way is to take a screenshot of your video and then post it as a regular post with a description, and include the link in your first comment at the bottom, right? So this kind of helps you cheat with the LinkedIn algorithm. Um, the other thing you can do is, actually, if you have the time and the resources, you can take, let's assume that your video is whatever, 3, 4, 5 minutes long. You can actually take a 20-second clip from that video and post it organically, and then include that link once again in the comment section to the external YouTube video. All right. Typically, a video should be 3 seconds long or 10 minutes long, but I recommend keeping it I recommend keeping it between 2 to 3 minutes max. Um, Also, keep them educational or entertaining. If you can do both, brilliant. Don't have like, oh, we attended this conference and it was great. No, you need to add some character and some spice to that video, so people will be tempted to click on more, or click on play, or watch the entire video, right? And one more thing, because LinkedIn does not allow you to save these videos, it's advisable to either bookmark the video in your browser in case you want to share it with other people, or just copy and paste that URL and save it in your notes or what have you, right? Next pro tip: publish articles on LinkedIn's blog, right? So it's really important to get as much content out there for your brand, because the more content that is out there, the more the chances of discovery. Now, a lot of people read the blogs way more than spending time on engaging with people. And if your target market is within those people that reads blogs and reads long form content, then this is a great way of reaching out to them. And doing long form blog posts, is also a great way to sort of stamp your authority on a subject. So if you want to portray yourself as an industry authority, as somebody that is an expert in his or her niche, this would be a great way to sort of create your own sort of opinion piece. And if you do it on a regular basis, it's a great way of reaching out to your target marketing, stamping authority. So a trick here is, compose your article in Microsoft Word document first, right, and then copy and paste it. Use a strong header, because LinkedIn gives you the option of using a header, and this is not a regular image. This is a header right on top. So use a header, and you can use external tools, like I've mentioned here. You can use tools like Unsplash, Pixels, Pixabay. There's tons of other resources where you can find free images that you can use just to spice up not only your articles, but also your LinkedIn content, your regular content, as well as your blogs or your other paraphernalia. And again, not just LinkedIn's blog, but all blogs. Google loves content, right? So the longer the article, the better. If you have a choice between writing a 500-word article and a 2,000-word article, go for the 2,000-word article, because most search engines love long form content. LinkedIn's blog loves long form content. So but again, provided it is relevant content, right? So if you can manage to write an article of between 1 to 2,000 words on a regular basis, I'd say aim to write one article a month. Then you're doing well, right? And this is also a great way. Now, an article is a great way of including links. So here you can include links to your social media profile, whether it is Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. You can include links to your blog or to your website or whatever. This is a great way to put backlinks for all you SEO hounds out there. This is a great way to include backlinks in your blog post, right? Again, include a call to action. Now, the trick here, because it's an article and you don't want to annoy people with a call to action somewhere in between, you got to make sure if they read the article all the way down to the end, you include something that says, or if you want help with your social media, if you want help with, looking at this example, if you want help with with generating leads for your real estate business, for instance, get in touch with me, or send me an email, or call this number, whatever. So that's a CTA here. And again, share this article within your updates, and not just on LinkedIn, but even with even on your Twitter and your Facebook and Instagram, so that you can get additional traction. All right. Now, these are the type of posts, and again, I've got to say, this is not something that I've got from someone else. These are all my own posts. This is stuff that I myself have experimented with. So this is me telling you what works and what doesn't, for me at least. So I strongly suggest that you take all this, everything that you've learned, or that you're learning here, and try and experiment as much as you can. So in this, on the one on the left, the example on the left, I was talking about, Liverpool winning the Premier League after 30 years. Now, if there are any football fans here, especially British football fans, they will know that this is a really big deal. I'm a big Scouser fan, big Liverpool fan, so it was a big deal for me when my club won. But then what I did here was I tried to liken this to a business situation where a lot of the times when there's a star performer in a company, and that star performer leaves and someone new comes on board, that new person is often asked by the senior management to follow in the footsteps of the old person and follow their guidelines and their strategies and their tactics or whatever. And in a lot of cases, they are not allowed to sort of stamp their own authority on their team. Now, the reason I used Liverpool as an example was when Jurgen Klopp, who is the coach, was appointed by Liverpool Football Club in 2015. When he came on board, he was given free rein. He was told that this is your team. You buy players, you sell players, you create the strategy, you create the coaching program, you create everything. You decide what to do, and we're going to give you enough time to prove your worth. And it didn't happen in the first year. It didn't happen in the second year. It didn't happen in the third year. But gradually, slowly and steadily, the team kept on improving to the point where last year, 2020, they won the league after a gap of 30 years. And this is something that businesses can learn from. When you hire somebody new, get someone, give them free rein, because obviously, if you've hired them, you obviously trust them to a certain degree. So give them free rein and let them prove themselves. But give them free rein and give them time. When I posted this, a lot of people really loved that, and I think a lot of people resonated with this post, which is why it got a lot of likes and views. And this is an example of a real life analogy that you can relate to business, right? Then on the right, you say it says right on the top, it says do not scroll down or click more. And this is kind of like a ploy to make people click more, because LinkedIn does not show you the entire post in the beginning when you're scrolling on the feed. It'll only show you the first 3 lines. And as you can see, I put 3 dots there, so you couldn't see anything. You could just see the first line. So this was a trick that I used to get people to click more. And what happened was I got people to click more, and it also got LinkedIn's algorithm I tricked the algorithm into believing that more and more people are clicking more, so that it showed it to more people, right? So this is, and ironically or coincidentally, this was a post that actually showed people how to write good headlines, tips on how to write really cool headlines. Next, you have some posts with an aspirational element, right? On the left, I talk about when I was a kid, I wanted to be famous, and then as I grew older, I realized that I wanted to be famous for nothing specific. And then as I grew even older, I realized that I wanted to be specific, but for something, for doing something, for having accomplished something. And again, this is something that this is something we call aspirational element. This has an aspiration, right? And a lot of people can identify with this. On the right, you see motivational advice, and this sparks conversation. The reason it sparks conversation is I'm sure a lot of marketers and consultants will identify with me when I say, when you do a pricing strategy for someone, and the prospect will say, "Oh, you're too expensive." I know people that do what you do that charge way less. And here I said, well, I respond if people tell me that, I respond to them with, I got clients that pay more. And what I'm trying to say here is, do not compromise on quality. And the clients that I already have, they know that I'm worth the investment, which is why they agree to pay more. So you should feel lucky that I'm charging you less. And this is something that also sparked a little bit of controversy, because a lot of people were like, well, how do we know that whoever it is qualified or has the right amount of pedigree to perform the job? And it's fair enough, but that's not, that's secondary. That is secondary nature of this post. The idea is to get people to engage with you, which is what I managed to do. All right. Then again, another type of post. This was a video post, and this was a split. I split opinion. Is artificial intelligence a blessing or a curse? Right? And a lot of people will still be debating this even today. This was somewhere in December of 2019. Yeah. Here I got people to split. This is like literally splitting hairs, right? Some people were like, yeah, artificial intelligence is great, and other people were like, no, it's scary. I don't like it. And there was actually a lot of engagement between them, not so much with me, between the different people that had commented, which was really good for my engagement, which shot up my post ranking. And you can actually substitute this with anything. Instead of saying is artificial intelligence a blessing or a curse, you can say I don't know, is remote working a blessing or a curse? Depending, you can apply it to any scenario depending on how relevant it is to your job or your industry. And then on the right side, I try to sort of ask a thought-provoking question like, do you get annoyed when your CEO or CFO asks you what's the return on investment? So naturally, when people see this and they see me looking annoyed, they will assume that the end of the story is, that I'm anti. I don't like the fact that the CEO or CFO asked me for this. But the actual thing is, there was a twist in the end where I said, well, it's a good thing they ask you because they want to help you, because they're giving you all that money to spend. So it's only natural that they know where and how that money is being spent. And that's what we explained to that video. Again, this is one of my highest performing videos in terms of engagement. So some good content ideas here. Talk about the latest happenings or developments within your industry. You can talk about developments within your industry. You can talk about developments within your organization. You can use motivational messages, but a caveat here: use motivational messages over the last 6 months to a year. They're being overused. Like every second person I know posts a lot of motivational messages. So practice restraint when it comes to motivational messages. Right? Don't go over the top. Don't put it this way: if you post 5 times a week or 3 times a week, let at least, I don't know, use motivational messages in every 10 posts so that you're not over the top with the motivation. Get inspiration from other people's posts, right? So if you see someone else's post that that you can identify with, you can take inspiration. Don't copy and paste it because that would be wrong. Take what they have, reword it, or sort of give your spin or give your opinion on that post. And you can actually even quote that person. You can even tag that person saying, I watched John's post or John's video, but even though I agree with most of what he says, here's my take on that particular subject. So that's a little hack to get some more inspiration for your post. And you can also get inspiration from your comments. Sometimes, with me at least, I post something, I try and comment. When I comment on someone else's content, I realize, well, hang on a second, this is a very strong opinion that I have. And not only is it strong, but it's actually strong enough for me to create a post of my own. And then what I do is in the next couple of days, I create a post of my own based on that piece of content. All right. So other ways of finding content to publish. You can use tools like BuzzSumo. BuzzSumo offers a free version and a paid version, but I think the free version is sufficient enough for you to find relevant content that is trending within your niche. So you go to the browser and just type in what you need, and you type your industry or the keywords, and then it'll give you a bunch of suggestions. You can also go to Trends, Google Trends, or Think with Google, or actually it's Trends. Just Google Trends, and you'll get this site, and it'll tell you what's trending in different parts of the world. So you can actually choose the country, and you can say, I want to find out what's trending in the UK. I want to find out what's trending in the US, and then if you can relate your brand or your subject or your topic or your product or your service to what is trending, brilliant. Then you can create a post around it. The same with Ubersuggest. Ubersuggest is it's actually aimed at SEO service. It's actually an SEO service that is owned by Neil Patel. He's like one of the top digital marketers in the world right now. But Ubersuggest is got a paid version and a free version. Again, just like the other resource, the free version is more than enough to sort of help you get started on some content ideas. And the last one is Answer the Public. Answer the Public is really cool. You just go into their browser and type your keyword, like you say growth marketing or growth hacking or real estate, whatever, and then it'll give you a bunch of ideas on what kind of content people are looking for with reference to that particular keyword. So if you type in real estate, it'll tell you, people want to know about, how to buy real estate, how to sell real estate, how to rent real estate, whatever it is. It's got an artificial intelligence algorithm that sort of splices that data and just throws it, and you love the graphic interface. It's really cool. It's all Spiral. All right, so here are some really cool hacks to get engagement. All right, so spend at least 15 minutes. Now, before you post your content, don't just post your content, whether you post daily or weekly, whatever. The idea is, before you post your content, let's assume you've got your content ready, whether it is a video, whether it's a picture, whether it's just a text post, you've got it ready, you're about to post it on LinkedIn. Don't. What you need to do is spend 15 minutes before you post, spend 15 minutes engaging with other people's content, all right? what this does is it sort of makes the LinkedIn algorithm wake up, and it will be like, okay, so this guy is active on LinkedIn, so let me see what he's coming out with. So he can. So what happens is it'll sort of kickstart. It's like the equivalent of kickstarting your metabolism, right? So it kickstarts your LinkedIn algorithm metabolism, and then you engage 15 minutes, and then you post, and you'll notice that your engagement will start getting some traction. The next thing to do is you can tag some other popular LinkedIn users in your platform, but don't just tag people randomly. Make sure that they're within your niche, and most importantly, make sure that they are first degree connections. If you're secondary connection, if you're tagging secondary connections, they might take offense to the fact, and they might ban you or whatever. So um, and a cool trick to figure out who to tag is also use the active status. Now, active status is somewhere on, near the LinkedIn profile. You will see a green button, right? The idea is the green button will tell you. Sorry. The green button tells you whether that person is online on LinkedIn or not. So if that person has a green button next to their profile, that means that person is online. So yeah, it's a good idea to tag them. So that's one way of tagging people. When it comes to hashtags, LinkedIn is not Instagram. It is not Facebook. The more is not merry. So keep your hashtags between 3 to 5. Do not use 10, 15 hashtags. Make sure you use a minimum of 3, a maximum of 5, and make them relevant. Relevant to your post. Not relevant to your industry, but relevant to your post. Right? If you're posting a link to a blog on another website, like I said earlier, post the actual link in the first comment. This one I've already told you earlier. Another cool trick that I discovered is engage with, let's assume that you've posted something and you got 10 comments. And if these comments, well, you need to engage with them anyhow, but if these comments are within the first 1 hour, engage with those people back, right? So if someone has said something in a comment that says, oh, excellent topic, look forward to hearing more from you or whatever, you need to respond to that person, because this also counts as engagement. And this is a cool trick, because a lot of people ignore that, and they might just take their own sweet time in getting back to those people, which is fine. You should always get back to them. My recommendation is always reply to people that are asking you something. But if you can reply, make sure that reply comes within that first 1 hour, because that is what LinkedIn considers the golden hour of engagement, right? And I also engage, like I said earlier, engage with second degree connections who have large followings, because if they engage back with you, their engagement counts for double or triple. Because if they've got, let's say, 50,000, 100,000 followers, and if they come to your account and engage with you, that counts to way more than if, say, someone with 1,000 followers comes to your account and engages, right? Another cool trick is to repurpose video. Let's assume you've done a video, or you have a video that is already around. You don't want to do your own video, but you have a video that you own, that your company has posted on YouTube, for instance. You can take that, and let's assume it's 5 minutes. You can take that video, which is 5 minutes long. You can break it down into 2 or 3 sections. And then what you do is you use that transcript, right, to convert it into a blog. If you've done the video on the fly, you can use resources like rev.com. That's R-E-V, V for vendetta, rev.com. I think they charge you $1 a minute for transcription, and they'll sort of transcribe everything and put it together. And still needs a bit of editing, but it'll take the donkey work away from you. And then you can rewrite that transcript into a blog post and use that as a blog post. That's number one. Number two, you can splice it into 3 separate videos and post them on LinkedIn. So that's the second way you can repurpose content. The third thing you can do is you can convert the entire audio and convert, if it's long enough, you can convert the entire audio you can convert the entire video into audio and use it as a blog, as a podcast. So that's content hack number 3. Then you can splice those little pieces of audio and video, right? Convert them to audiograms and again post them at a different time on your LinkedIn profile, all right? You can also add text descriptors to these, whether they're snapshots, whether they're images, or whether they're actual audiograms, and you can actually repost them to your Facebook, your Instagram, and again on LinkedIn, right? So here you've seen a bunch of ways you can repurpose one piece of video. Again, going back to this, if you guys need help with this, just shoot me an email, and I'll explain it to you either on a Zoom call or by email or whatever. Another great tool, if you're going to be really, if you're going to go into content marketing heavy on LinkedIn, I also recommend checking out tools like Shield and Analytics. Shield is the older of the two, and when I say older, Shield's been around for about 2 years, I think. Analytics has been around for about a year. A lot of the top influencers on LinkedIn use Shield, and it'll give you insights, data, and analytics on your content, how it's performing, what's performing well, what's not performing well, what kind of reactions you're getting, and these are details that LinkedIn does not give you. So it's really advisable to check out both Shield and I've checked out. I've done a trial version of Shield, and I'm really impressed. I'm currently doing a trial of Analytics and weighing the two, and I'll let you know once I'm done with my trial. And they both offer free trials, I think, for 10 days or 14 days or whatever. So check them out if you want. So here's some final thoughts. Put together once you put together a growth plan, this is what it should look like. First, you define your goals, like we said in the first bunch of slides. Define what you want your LinkedIn to do, your LinkedIn presence to do. Second, create a buyer persona. And a buyer persona is essentially a semi-fictitious representation of your ideal customer, right? Their likes, their dislikes, where they hang out, but in this case, this would be applicable specifically to LinkedIn, right? So create your buyer persona for LinkedIn, then optimize your profile, right? And the reason you need to do the first things first is you need to do once you know who your buyer persona is, then you optimize your profile aimed at that buyer persona. For instance, if you're optimizing your profile, if you're looking for a job, or you're looking for recruitment opportunities, then you have to optimize your profile in the way that you're looking for a job, right? As opposed to if you are looking for partners or if you're looking for sales, then you have to optimize your profile in that respect, right? So it's all interrelated, right? Then you plan your content strategy, right? Figure out, based on that buyer persona, I need to figure out my content framework, and this is what I want to do in terms of who I want to reach out and what I want them to do with my content, right? Then you create your engagement strategy, figure out how you want to engage these people, and then finally you do your outreach. Now, engagement and outreach, you can interchange them depending on what's more of a priority for you. Lastly, experimentation is key. You have to keep experimenting. Now, these things that we've gone through over the last hour and 15 minutes or almost hour and a half are things that have been a success, that I have been mostly successful with, but it does not mean that they're going to be, that you guys are going to be successful with them as well. These are things that work for the most part, but they need tweaking. For example, for me, I find when I post, most of the time when I post content on Wednesdays, it performs really well. Ironically, did not post today because I was busy putting this together. But generally, when I post content on Wednesdays in the morning between 11 to 12, it performs really well. Now, this is generally the case, but it might be entirely different for you. So I strongly suggest I recommend you experiment, right? Experiment with long form updates, experiment with motivational quotes, but keep that in mind. Keep the fact that you can't overdo it with motivation. You can also use things like polls. I've just used polls once and I didn't really get a lot of engagement on them, but you're more than welcome to try out polls and see how they work for you. Tag other users in your posts, identify hashtags. These are all experiments, but again, you have to experiment with different hashtags, what hashtags to use that are relevant to your industry, to your brand, what have you, right? Here's a recommended breakdown of time spent per month, right? Initially, you spend, this is assuming that you spend a good 1 to 2 hours initially fixing your profile. And then after that, you need to spend 5% of the overall time in a month on optimizing or making sure that your profile is up to date, right? You spend 30% of your time on engagement, 40% of your time on content creation and curation, and 25% of your time on outreach. Remember, social selling is about conversational marketing. It's not about spamming people, right? So you have to build two-way conversations. That's how you sell on social platforms like LinkedIn. You need to build trust, right? You need to build trust. You need to build that relationship. That's how you sell. And it's very much to do with a shift in your mindset, right? It's not about the old days. It was all about me marketing. Check out my product, check out my services, check out our brand. Now it's about you as in the end user, your customer, your client. It's all about them. You need to make sure that they're happy. You need to make sure that they're taken care of even before they become your customer. That is, the key is in the word social. That's what social selling is all about, right? And that's it. So that's the end of today. And I switch to that. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Brilliant. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, found that insightful. Um, Great. Sorry, my eyeglasses are downstairs, so I'm gonna squint. Great. Is there any questions? If there are any questions, I'm gonna say. There you go. I would have said you got to raise your hand, but I'm assuming there people are already asking questions. Thank you, Barry. It was very helpful to implement this. Do the posting for more reach. Sorry, do postings connect hashtag matter for more reach? Sorry, Ajit, could you elaborate on that, please? Sorry, let me just check out the. Of course, I'm going to copy your post, John. Yep, Victoria. We will as soon as I get my hands on the recording, I will send you. We'll upload it somewhere, probably on YouTube, and I'll send you a link to the recording. Yeah, recording will be brilliant. Definitely, everyone that wants recording will get a link to it. I guess Michael's left, but you're welcome. Great ideas for the carousel. Cool. Chetan, yes, I wanted to keep it as casual as possible. I've attended too many formal style webinars, and at the end of the day, I'm home, man. I want to be casual. Yes, a recording. Like, does hashtag really matter for more reach to find relevant hashtag? Well, to find relevant hashtags, you can actually go to the hashtags section on LinkedIn. You see in the tabs. Sorry. You actually, if you go to the tab, I've kind of disconnected my Chrome browser, and yeah, you can actually hashtags do matter. But here's a tip, Ajit. If you want to really focus on branding yourself, I suggest, because hashtags are still, they matter because they're relatively new, and not a lot of people use hashtags for the moment. So if you do use hashtags, chances are you will get way more traction. So I suggest, and this is something that I haven't done and I'm going to really consider doing, create a hashtag for you, right? So I'm going to create a hashtag for me. I don't know, busy Barry or Barry. What I need to figure out what to call that hashtag. But if you create a branded hashtag and then make sure that that becomes a regular part of your call to action, right? So at every piece of content at the bottom, you say, "Oh, follow awesome Ajit for hashtag awesome Ajit for more similar content," right? Follow hashtag awesome Ajit, whatever. If you keep copying and pasting that at the end of every bit of your interaction, especially when you're posting content, you will start noticing that your content will well, two things will happen. One, your content will get more traction, and two, more people will start visiting your profile because they're intrigued by, oh, who is this guy posting his own hashtag. I've seen 4 or 5 of my LinkedIn connections do that very successfully, and something definitely I wanna definitely start doing myself. Key buzzwords. Uh, sure, Kainas. I will send you a link to the recording. As soon as it's uploaded somewhere, we'll send a link to everyone. Very insightful. Very pleased. Do let me know now recording this. Key buzzwords. Can you mention a few? Sorry, where's that? Matthew. Sorry. Buzzwords with regard to what exactly, Matthew? Well, again, I don't really quite get it, but yeah, you can post. There aren't any buzzwords as such that the algorithm is looking for. Uh, on a larger scale, what it does is it looks at quantity, right? So if you're posting a one-line status update, it's going to value that as much less as opposed to if you were posting a 10-line status update. So first is quantity, and then it'll sort of try and figure out how much. okay, so here's how it works, and this is, again, I didn't want to bore everyone else, assuming that this is a casual conversation. What LinkedIn does is it actually, for the first 15 or 30 minutes, I'm not sure, it actually shows your post is viewed by human viewers within LinkedIn, right? And then those guys will determine whether they will push your posts into the algorithm for further enhancement, for want of a better word, right? So in a way, so I guess you're right. You could use specific buzzwords, but then again, they need to be relevant. It's not like a CV software, an ATS software that actually trawls for specific buzzwords. The key here is to appeal to human emotion. So whatever buzzwords, whatever quote unquote buzzwords you're using, you need to the key is to appeal to human emotion so that you can get more people to take that desired action, whether it is to click on a button or download a PDF or watch a video, whatever it is that you desire to do. I'm not sure, Matthew, is that what you're looking for? Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Chetan. I'm always this energetic. Awesome. Right. So we're gonna wind this up. One last chance. Anyone have any more questions? Is it smart to post hashtags of others where there are more followers for better reach, or create own? Uh, well, technically, no one really owns a hashtag. So it's if it works for you, I guess you could do it because you don't really own that hashtag. However, again, if you go back to the piece of advice I gave you earlier, where you create your own branded hashtag, in the long run, it's going to work a lot better for you because you think long term. Everything that you do here has to be you need to think long term. If you use someone else's hashtag, it'll probably bump up your content in the algorithm one time, and that's it. The algorithm will forget it. Whereas if you start building your own branded hashtag, it's a continuous effort. So maybe today you'll get 5, tomorrow you'll get 20 views, and the next day you'll get 50, 100. It's a long process, but eventually, if you're consistent and if you're posting relevant, valuable information, then you'll build your brand that way. Yes, we will send you a link to the recording. You're welcome, John. Glad you found this informative. Awesome, Majid. So, time for one last question. PPT and recording. Sure, we'll send you the PPT and recording. I'll probably send you the PPT in a PDF and a link to the recording, if that's okay. All right, guys. Thanks very much for your time. Thanks for showing up. I hope the last hour and a half was helpful. And if there's any help that you need upgrading your presence on LinkedIn in terms of your profile, your content strategy, your engagement strategy, crafting your messages, or if you want us to do the whole thing for you. Yeah, see, I did a shameless plug in there. Just shoot me an email. My email is barry@nextgen.digital. That's BARRY @NEXGEN.digital. So that's it. Thanks very much, and enjoy the rest of your evening, the rest of your day. Take care. Cheers. Thanks. Take care, guys. Feel free to, if you've got some time, feel free to lounge about in the social lounge. That will still be open for the next 20 minutes or so. Might make some new connections. Cheers. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.